Hi everyone, Russell here again. So I had the unique opportunity of spending an entire day with Jackson Racing, and they also took time out of their day to answer all my questions in an interview, which will be included in this video. Before I take you to the interview portion of this video, I just want to show you this masterpiece here. It's very evident when you go to install this that Jackson Racing has over 40 years of experience. There wasn't a single corner cut on this build. It is top quality on every single piece that you put on your Talon. The amount of time and effort they put in the engineering, the development, the testing, even the software as far as shifting your transmission with different sized tires is incredible. From a driving perspective, this turbo kit takes my Honda Talon to a level I didn't even know it was capable of. But this horsepower in the chassis matches up exceptionally well. One very noticeable thing besides the power is the immediate throttle response. I mean, it is phenomenal. This is just a great machine. The power band is great. Acceleration is just, it exceeded all of my expectations. So, all right, I'm sitting down here with Oscar Jackson Jr., and I have a few questions for him. He's taken time out of his day to answer those. And the first question is, what made you enter the side-by-side market, and how did you partner up with Honda?
So our original business, as people probably know, is we do a lot of Honda Automotive. We've been doing Honda Automotive products since the 70s. So we've been doing superchargers and turbochargers for Hondas for a long time. And the product came around with Honda coming out with the new Honda Talon and wanting to build a race team with a turbocharger application. And they came to us looking to do a race team application. And in the process of doing the race team, we discovered we could come out with a consumer level product that's carb legal and able to be installed easily and run, perfect for the average consumer. And that's how it kind of came about.
So the biggest question everyone wants to know, what is the new horsepower and torque numbers on the Honda Talon?
Yeah, that's a common question, and it gets confusing because we have, crank horsepower numbers, wheel horsepower numbers. So to kind of give you an easy way to look at it is the vehicle makes 104 crank horsepower rated from Honda, and we see a 60% increase in horsepower and about a 70% increase in torque. That increase goes from like 104 to 166 as horsepower numbers go. On a dyno, at the hubs, the cars make 90 wheel horsepower. So then we go from 90 wheel horsepower to 145, 150.
So what type of dyno setup do you use to get these numbers, and how accurate is it?
So we use a Dynapack dyno to do these numbers, and the big reason we use one of those dynos is we can really get accurate numbers at the hubs. We take out the variance of wheel weight and tire weight and size and everything like that, so we can actually get real numbers. Obviously there's other dynos out in the market that you can use a roller dyno, but if you do that, we really encourage you to do a true before and after to know what your percentage increase, because dynos read differently all over the place. That's why we really stick to it's a 60% increase in power.
So it seems everyone is focused way too much on the crank horsepower instead of the wheel horsepower. And when I'm reviewing the dyno charts, it seems that Honda is up there with the competition on wheel horsepower. Why is that?
Well, the big advantage of the Honda Talon, as we know, is the DCT. So the dual clutch transmission is able to get the power to the ground efficiently. And so when you combine that DCT transmission that's really efficient at getting the power to the ground with the i4-wheel drive system, including our turbocharger system, you put it all together and it comes out to be a good package for the wheel horsepower numbers. Crank horsepower, it can range depending on your drivetrain and how it gets the power to the ground. But that's the real advantage, is the DCT.
After installing the turbo kit, what exactly do we need to do?
So after installing the kit, it's pretty easy. You install the system as long as you run your standard oil and do your standard maintenance. The vehicle will run great. The key things are after you do the initial install, the initial heat cycle, you want to go and check those header bolts and make sure that everything is tight and torqued up, because those gaskets will take a little bit of a seat. And then yeah, after that you enjoy the vehicle, and every service check the nut and bolt, everything in the turbo kit, and then obviously change your air filter, or I should say service your air filter regularly every 500 to 1,000 miles.
On my Honda Talon, I purchased the 4-year extended warranty from Honda, giving me a total of 5 years of coverage. So how is this turbo kit going to affect the warranty I purchased, and what warranty do you offer with this turbo kit?
So our turbo kit comes with a 1-year warranty from Jackson Racing. So all the turbo components are covered under Jackson Racing. Your Honda warranty is a separate thing from us. The turbo kit is not going to do anything to your factory warranty. The factory warranty is through Honda. That's their vehicle. They handle the warranty on that part, and we handle any warranty for the turbocharger components.
So one of the accessories that I absolutely love with my Talon was the particle separator from SMB. After installing this kit on my Talon, I noticed it's not currently compatible with this turbo kit. Is this something that you're working on in the future to make compatible?
Yes, it's been a common question. In the Honda accessory, particle separator is a common add-on, especially out here in the West. And so we're working on getting that compatible with our airbox.
During flashing my Talon, I noticed that you can select different tire sizes, 28, 30, and 32s. So what exactly does this do, and why is it important? Also, does that adjust the speedometer so it has the correct speed reading?
So the adjustment for the tire size is important for the shift schedule. So with the different size tires, the shift schedule changes because of the gear ratios change with the different tire sizes. If you're at a 31-inch tire, you can decide on a 30 or a 32, whatever feels better to you. It also, the weight will change in a factor. It will be a factor in that too. So, pick which one fits best for your application. But the biggest thing is it adjusts the shift schedule. The speedometer is not adjusted because that is actually coming from an input on the vehicle, not from the ECU. So the speedometer is getting an input different. Adjusting it is not really something that we were able to get done.
So while I was installing the turbo kit, I noticed a few sections of the directions, they had things separated between an A and an AC on the ECU or the Honda Talon. So can you briefly describe what the difference is between the A and the AC?
So the difference is the AC, the C being California model, and then the A is basically 49 state Canada, any place but California. And that real difference between those vehicles is that the California vehicle has an EVAP system. So that EVAP system is for your evaporative emissions, and it's in the fuel tank. There's really no difference in performance. I shouldn't say there's really no difference. There is no difference in performance. The only difference is that one version has the control over the EVAP system, while the A model doesn't have control over an EVAP system. So it's important to select the correct one for your vehicle, because there is no performance difference. The only real difference is the evaporative system working correctly or not, and that's the only real difference.
So is there any difference when it comes to the hardware between the A and the C during installation?
Yes, there is a difference. So the AC models have, because the EVAP system has to get vacuum, they already have vacuum ports on the throttle bodies. The A model does not have any vacuum ports. So to operate the bypass valve, we need a vacuum port. So we add in a vacuum port in the same factory location as the AC models on the A models. So that's part of the instructions, and you can get those on talon.jacksonracing.com.
So before installing this turbo kit, you need to know if you have an A or an AC model. So how do we go about finding that information before we begin?
So if you don't know which state you bought it from or what location it came out of, only AC models come out of California. A models come out of every other state. But if you bought across the border or anything like that, you wouldn't know. So the best way to check is on the ECU, which is under the driver's seat. So underneath the driver's seat, there's going to be an ECU. You flip it over and it'll have an A or an AC on the ECU. And we explain that in the instructions and the general information area, how to identify it. Or on the throttle body, you can look at the throttle body and you'll be able to see it has vacuum ports for the AC models or no vacuum ports on the A models.
So I elected to install your turbo kit, Jackson Racing turbo kit, on my Talon. Does this void the warranty with Jackson Racing? And do you have any recommendations on who should install it?
So your warranty is not affected with us if you do the installation. We recommend a experienced mechanic to do the installation, and that's why we have the instructions on the website. So you can always look them over and decide, hey, this is above my pay grade, or decide you can do it yourself. Ultimately, we recommend you're going to your Honda Power Sports dealer to have the installation done. They're very experienced with the Honda Talon. They have the service manuals. They can really make sure that gets installed correctly. But yeah, you can install it yourself too.
So during my installation of the turbo kit and on my install video on YouTube, I mentioned I didn't understand why we were connecting the two hoses. Maybe, can you shed some light on that? Why we're piecing those two together?
The valve cover vent hose.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the valve cover vent hose, we use two existing Honda hoses, mainly for emissions compliance. You could run just a random hose, but the problem is that it wouldn't pass the SAE J30R9 requirements. So we use existing Honda hoses to pass those emissions requirements for the crankcase ventilation.
So many people, including myself, were a little concerned when we opened up the package and realized that there was a K&N filter. So I have a two-part question here for you. The first is, what is the difference between a standard street K&N filter compared to this one that's specifically designed for off-roading? And second, what about maintaining it?
Okay, so kind of a long answer, but so when we went to go work on this side of the vehicle, that is obviously a concern, not just for the consumers, but for us, Garrett as a turbocharger company, because we don't want dirt going through an engine. We don't want dirt going through a turbocharger. It's got to go through a turbocharger first, and that would be a bad thing. So when we set out with this design challenge here, we went, okay, what do we need to fit in here? And we went to K&N and we worked with them specifically on it. One of the things was, why is there a bad name of what works and doesn't work? And the big change is in the off-road market, K&N now has a 6-ply tight weave matrix that they use on their off-road filters compared to their street filters that use a 4-ply. So what we use in our UTV application is the same as what K&N uses in their normal application. So this isn't just a filter that we make somewhere randomly. K&N does manufacture it for us. And it's manufactured with a 6-ply tight weave UTV off-road application filter, as well as the foam over the top, the dry foam. And so what the dry foam does is it takes out any heavy particulate, which allows the oiled cotton gauze with that tight weave to work the way it's really good at, and that's taking out that small particulate. So now you have this combination of both of the advantages of a foam filter being able to take a lot of volume of heavy particulate, but now you have that efficiency of taking out the small particulate with that cotton gauze, and being able to get something that can flow a couple hundred horsepower through filters is key. You know, some types of filters you can get that do these really high efficiency filtering, but they can't do the volume of air, the CFM, that we need on a turbocharged application.
Okay, and so what about as far as maintaining it, and what is the purpose of the foam sleeve?
So I'll start with the foam sleeve. The foam sleeve is to take out that heavy particulate. So as dirt comes in, you can take out any heavy particulate, so that it lets the oiled side of the filter work properly. The foam takes out any of those heavy pieces, so then now just those fine particulate can go to the oil and it can do its job. And then maintenance wise, it obviously depends on different conditions. Out here on the West Coast, in the dust and in our fine grit terrain, you're going to need to check it a little bit more often. But 500 to 1,000 miles, it really depends on your application. Some people may never see any dust, so it can last a long time. We did a lot of durability miles and a lot of testing, and we didn't clean filters throughout it to kind of do the worst case scenario. And we had no intrusions and no problems with it. So I know it's something that's a little different for some people in this market, but it's something that we did a lot of research on and did a lot of ISO testing and partnered with K&N on it to make sure it's correct.
Okay, and what do you recommend as far as the cleaning process?
So cleaning's really easy. When you take the filter out of the car, you take it out and you will pop off this top piece here and unscrew this piece, and the whole filter assembly will come right out. And then you can take the foam off, and when you take the foam off, you can clean that and real easily, or you can get another one. The other thing we suggest is having a second filter, just so that you can hot swap real quick. So if you're like out and about and you go, you know what, I need a new filter, you put the fresh one in, then that one that's dirty, you can take your time cleaning it out. So as I said already, the foam piece you take off, the standard looking K&N underneath, you're gonna do the K&N recharge kit, what you have on our website, or you can order from a K&N dealer and recharge that oil to their specifications.
And we can also buy a second filter from your website, correct?
Correct, yeah. So you can get a second filter and install that really easily. And I recommend that for most people, because that way you can take the dirty one out, put a clean one in, keep riding, and then you can work on cleaning that second one. So it's good to have two filters in rotation. So every 500 to 1,000 miles, again, depending on your terrain and what you're doing, double check on that.
So the current kit out is only available for the two-seater Talons. Is there something in the works for everybody with a four-seater that wants to add this horsepower to their vehicles?
Absolutely. So four-seater has been in the works for a while. We just released with two-seater initially. So four-seater will be coming here in the next couple weeks, and it'll be available for two-seaters and four-seaters. Just keep an eye on talon.jacksonracing.com.
For the Jackson Racing warranty, is there any type of product registration or anything that we need to do once we purchase and install this product?
Yes, so we have an area of our website under the support tab is a product registration. Once you get your turbocharger system installed, we want you to fill out that information so that we know you as an owner. And then that way we can notify you and have you on our email list, so that we can tell you of any updates, firmware updates to the flash tool, feature updates, anything like that, as well as some owner perks that we get to give to you guys and exclusively to the turbo owners.
Perfect, great information, and thank you for the wonderful day showing me your setup here and explaining in detail the products, and also thank you for making the Honda Talon a real competitor. I mean, turning this machine basically to the next level has been unbelievable. So thank you for your time. Thank you for this great day. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Russell. Thanks.
All right, to register your turbo kit for the warranty or to access this installation manuals, you'll go to, as you can see at the top, talon.jacksonracing.com. And then we'll go right here to the middle left side of the screen, click on that tab there, scroll down to support, and then of course you can click on installation manuals, or we'll do product registration. Okay, so you'll see here is the turbo kit warranty registration. So you'll fill in your information, address, phone number, email, select your model year. So I have the 1000R. Where did you purchase your Talon? Where did you purchase your turbo kit? And then you'll upload a copy of your receipt. And so this is important. First off, for your 1-year warranty with Jackson Racing, and also to receive any updates like a software update or something. So I highly recommend completing this process.